Hi, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing the birth story of Stella.
Yep.
Yep.
So, okay, this is my experience of giving birth as a foreign woman in Sweden. So yeah, here it goes. So it all started on December 12th. That's when I started with having contractions in the morning of the 12th, and I had false alarms before, and all of them were like not. It wasn't actually.
But originally we thought that was a false alarm too, because
Yeah,
there was like no real difference.
Yeah, and because they were like, most likely, they were like, don't worry, I mean, most likely it's going to be born around the 20 or something. But I was super like expecting, I was expecting her, and I didn't think I was going to make it to the 20th. So yeah, on the 12th of December I start with the contractions, and then I say to him, I think it's time, and he says, "No, probably it's just another false alarm."
Yeah, we had like 5 or 6 of them, so they said that it was gonna be like a different feeling, but you kind of like said it was the same.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first false alarm we had was when I was 28 weeks pregnant, which was not a good thing because she was going to be very premature, and that was going to be troublesome. But I do remember that they say, don't worry, relax, because these false alarms happen all the time. In fact, we met a woman that she said, no, I had like 11 false alarms. What? Okay. So yeah, on the 12th I start having contractions, and then I go to the hospital once again, and they check on me and I say, okay, now you are in labor. I'm like, fine, but is it going fast or what? And they say, it's going slow, but you are in labor. You're 3 centimeters. You're in 3 centimeters. And I'm like, oh, this is it. And I thought, okay, she was going to be born today. Yeah, little did I know.
Think again.
Turns out my labor was 43 hours long, and so yeah, she was born on the 14th. But yeah, I started having contractions on the 12th, and well, that's when I am officially admitted in the hospital. And I gotta say, I know I had a rough experience after birth, but I'm not gonna lie and say that I was mistreated the whole thing, because at the beginning, before I gave birth, they treat me like a queen, honestly. They gave me like the nicest bed. They gave me any food I wanted, even though I wasn't very hungry. I don't know if someone here gave birth, you know that you're not very hungry the previous hours. But he could eat whatever he wanted. He asked for I don't know how many milkshakes you had.
Yeah, they had a really good milkshake. It was like the milkshakes they have at McDonald's. It was about the same quality, and they basically said you can have as many as you want. So I basically had one every like half hour or something like that. That was like what I drank.
Yeah, so the whole day goes by, the whole 12 goes by, and then the night arrives and there was no change on me. And they say, okay, if you are the same tomorrow, then probably you have to go home and wait there, again. And I was like, not again, please. And then the night arrived, and that's when I started having my contractions start to be stronger, and I was a little bit in pain, like I was very uncomfortable. And this is when they send me to a jacuzzi. I mean, no kidding. They sent me to a jacuzzi.
It was like a bath, a fancy bath. It wasn't really a jacuzzi, because
it was like jacuzzi, a mini jacuzzi.
You can kind of think of like a swimming pool jacuzzi.
No.
But it was like a bathtub that had jacuzzi features.
I mean, they're not gonna have a jacuzzi in the hospital, but
No, don't you never know that. You never know.
well, but they sent me to this very fancy bathtub with massage and everything, and they say, you want a milkshake, and I'm like, I don't know, it's too heavy. Well, they bring me a milkshake, and then
And
I was like
yes.
but I was like, don't you have something else? And they brought me a big jar of lingonberry juice, and then they gave me how is it called, wet towels on my head. So I was like feeling like a queen with towels in my head in the bathtub drinking lingonberry juice, and it was so nice. That was the nicest part of everything. And then, but no change. And then the next day they come and check me again, and I was in 5 now. I was dilating so slow. And then they said, okay, you are progressing now. It's just a matter of time, you know. And I was so impatient. I just wanted her to be born now. And this is where I say, okay, this is not that bad. I mean, I can manage the pain. And hours later, I will be eating my own words. Because then the whole day goes by, and then I start having more pain. And then they gave me the epidural. I asked for it. And it was such a hard process. Before they gave me the epidural, they had to perform some sort of like, how was it? What was that? It was like some kind of X-ray or something.
Yeah, they take pictures because it's like they
From
don't
my,
want to hit the spine, you know, because that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, because I warned them
out of the whole process of you giving birth, the only real danger was like the epidural, actually.
Because I warned them that I had a scoliosis. I told them, look, I have an scoliosis, and they're like, okay, we're gonna check in that case. So the anesthesia guy came, and yeah, he performed like a live X-ray on me, and then I said, okay, here we go, and they gave me the epidural, and it worked at the beginning, but then it was fading away, and I was in miserable pain, and I was in lots of pain. And then the 13 goes by, and then now is the midnight on the 14th. So that's when I start dilating even more and more and more. And what I said hours before that, oh, I can manage the pain, then I was in 8 centimeters, and I was going mad. I was literally going mad from the pain. I was like, I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, please, this has to be the end. It has to be the end. And my poor husband was awake the whole time.
Yeah, I had not slept like I think I didn't sleep in like 30 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like she chose to like come out when I was practically passing out, because they took her to a separate room for when she was giving birth, and like I was like fainting basically, so I was on the ground with pillows, like waiting for her to enter, like for when she was gonna start giving birth. And then when it was time, I like had to get up, and like I was keeping her company, but I mean, yeah, it wasn't fun.
No, it was a very rough process. It was a very long delivery, because Stella was born around 6 a.m. or something. And then I was in 9 now, and I was literally breathing through the pain. I couldn't even breathe, and that's what I mean. I couldn't even breathe. So the doctor said, do you want me to make acupuncture, or you want me to you want some gas? I'm like, give me anything, I just want a release. I mean, and I haven't slept in like 24 hours there, and I don't know, it was just I think I blocked some memories, because when it was about time, then they changed me, they sent me to another room, And I remember like trying every position and nothing worked until I felt like I wanted to push. And the doctor said, okay, no, don't push now. You don't have to push. You're not in 10 yet. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I want to push. My body's asking me to push. And it's not, I didn't mean it bad. It's just that my body, my entire being was asking, push, please. And the doctor wasn't letting me push. So I started pushing anyway. And that's when Stella started to come out, and they say, oh yeah, she's actually coming, good thing you started to push. I'm like, really? And then first I tried, Stella was going to be born with me standing up, and they put a lot of pillows for her to to land on the pillows. But like he said, I was passing out too, and then I go back to the bed, and they put me in a, like, everything goes so quickly after this, so I don't remember much. It all happened very fast. I go to the bed, they roll me on my side, and then the doctors came. The main doctor was like in at the end of the bed, and there was another doctor holding me from behind and being so nice to me. She was like, it's okay. And she was patting my head, trying to calm me down, and he was too holding my head.
I was by your side the whole time.
Yeah, he was by my side the whole time. And after a very painful 2 pushes, Stella was born finally, and I remember hearing her cry right away. It was so beautiful, and yeah, it was a very beautiful thing. I think it's, even though it was so hard, I will never forget that moment. And yes, that was, I don't know, out of this world. I don't know, it was an out of this world experience. But the thing is, I can't help but tearing up a little bit when I remember, because she really was the most beautiful picture in the world. And then when I saw them together, that was like, it was worth living, the picture of David and Stella together when they were rushing me to surgery. Because when she was born, a few minutes passed, and they wanted me to go into the 3rd labor stage, which is the placenta, when the placenta comes out. And then my placenta wasn't coming out, it was taking very long. So, and then I started bursting lots of blood out of me, and they say, okay, we need to rush you to surgery now. So they rushed me to surgery, and the last thing I saw was David taking his shirt out, and they were handling the baby, Stella, to him.
They said that skin to skin is very important.
Yeah, and then that's the last thing I saw before being entering to surgery. It was so beautiful, even though I spent hours without sleep, and I was dehydrated, and I literally just suffered the most horrible pain in my life, because childbirth, I think, is the most painful thing I ever experienced. It was worth the scene was worthy. And then, well, they rushed me to the surgery room, and they say, okay, we're gonna put you to sleep. When you wake up, you're gonna be with your baby and your husband back. We promise it's gonna be okay. So they put me to sleep, and after that I don't remember anything, of course. And then suddenly I started waking up in a fuss. It was a fussy thing, and they're I was hearing my name, and then I remember waking up, and I was like, what happened? And I'm like, oh yeah, I was in surgery. And then I remember that the first thing I saw was this very nice doctor, and she was so kind to me. And she says, no, you're okay. We need to keep you here because we need to check your vitals. And I remember asking, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And they're like, your baby is okay. She's with your husband. They're coming to see you. And I started like being more aware of what was going on, because it was like waking up from, I don't know, it felt like, I don't know, like a truck ran me over. and then I was waking up from that. But yeah, they brought my baby. Then I was like, they put me in a different section of the hospital, and he went to sleep, which I was like, okay, you deserve to get some sleep. And I couldn't sleep because I was too excited seeing my baby and everything, you know. And I remember that after that they gave me 2 blood transfusions and 1 iron infusion, and so I could recover, you know. It was I will say I recovered pretty fast. It was a fast recovery, but then the things got a little bit bad after that, because for some reason that to this day I don't understand. There was a person in the hospital that first came to me very friendly, wanting to help, apparently. And she was the one who insisted on taking the baby, and I was like, no, I don't really want you to take the baby. And then she said, no, because you need to. Oh, because I lost a lot of blood, and then because of the blood loss, I couldn't produce milk, you know. So Stella was formula fed at the beginning, and then my milk recovered, and then I could breastfeed her, you know. And then she said, no, because you need to pump and you need to be quiet. So if you want, I'm just gonna take the baby 5 minutes or 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, but bring her back soon. 15 minutes pass, and then she brings Stella back, and she was like, literally, she seemed to be very nice. She said, oh, because I read that you're from a different land just like me, so I understand how it feels to be foreigner, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then I found out when they tell me that they called social services on me because apparently I wasn't connecting with the baby and that I rejected the baby, which I was like, what? I heard that this person was the who pressed reported on me, and then I told him, it's not true. I mean, show cameras. There has to be a security footage, and they're like, no, there's none. And like, oh, okay, how convenient. In a hospital, there's no footage, there's no security footage. Okay, great. And they're like, why do you want security anyway? And like, to prove that I'm telling the truth, and because I know I'm telling the truth, and this person is lying, is blatantly lying.
And in Sweden, when it comes to those things, if a government employee says something about you, they send you in jail first and then they investigate.
Yeah, and that's what happened in our case. They sent us to this jail, apparently, this government facility for bad parents, apparently. No, and then they investigated.
They sent us to like an evaluation facility, basically, to make sure that like we're good parents and all that, and that we aced it in 2 weeks, and
yeah,
we haven't needed to hear from the social services since. So, but yeah, it is what it is.
I mean,
some people are just assholes.
I have Hispanic friends here in Sweden, and they also told me that they also sent social services on them for no apparent reason. So I don't know if it was because of being a foreigner or what, but yeah, this person lied. Nothing of what she said was true, and I was very, very angry, not only at her but at the social services, because they sent us to this government facility in the middle of the winter with a newborn baby, with me that I was postpartum. I mean, if you don't want to respect my postpartum, it's okay. I mean, I am an adult, I can cope, but they didn't have any consideration for my kid that was a newborn baby. She could have cooked anything with a lot of people living around her. I mean, we had a room for ourselves, and I mean, the people at that place were very nice. There were other families, I think there were other 5 families, and they were so understanding. I really liked them, and the people that worked there too. In fact, there was this particular guy that we both like very much. I don't know if I can say his name here.
He was very nice.
Yeah, he was one of the nicest there. And he was the one who first asked, what are you guys doing here? Like, there's nothing wrong with your parenting. You're obviously taking good care of this baby. And we say, yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell everyone. Like, we've been preparing for her arrival for months and months. She has everything at home. And here our lives are kind of disrupted, because in that place we didn't have anything. We literally prepared the home for the baby, and in that place was a bit difficult because we were in it was basically
a shitty winter house kinda.
Yeah,
like it was like bed bunks and stuff. It was like almost like in a, how do you say it? It's like almost like a little bit like a military bunker,
or like a summer camp kind of.
Yeah, summer camp is better.
Kind of room, yeah.
Summer camp with military bunker beds. It's practically it.
Yeah, and like I said, I was very pissed because they didn't have any consideration for my kid. And what if they said, oh, we do it just to help and for the best interest of the child. And I was like, yeah, and if my child gets sick, who's going to pay for the best interest of my child, you know? But thank God Stella was okay. She didn't get anything. She was super fine. She was just a tiny little baby wanting mommy close, and that's what I did the whole time. I just kept her close to me. I tried not to expose her to the outside so much. I mean, we've been out with her a few times, but I just kept to myself with her. But yeah, after 2 weeks we left and we returned home, and everything was good. I mean, we received this visit of the social worker once a week, it was, I think.
Yeah, for like a month, and then they were like, "What? I don't need to do this anymore."
Yeah, she was like, I'm wasting my time here. I mean, and she even said, it feels like I'm just interrupting a family's routine every time I come. But she was very nice too. She was very helpful too. She gave us a few tips.
Yeah, but that was kind of it.
That was kind of it. I mean,
and now here we are.
Yeah, I mean, in all, I have to say that there's a lot of respect for the woman in the Swedish healthcare when it comes to give birth. There's a lot of respect for the woman and the baby because, like I said, they treat me very well at the beginning. Before giving birth, they were so supportive. They gave me basically anything I wanted, and they were super nice. And they said that they never, you know, like they never yell at me or they force me to do something, you know. They were just very, very understanding. But then the problems came after. So yeah, my experience giving birth in Sweden was bittersweet, I will say. It was a bittersweet experience. But I mean, it was worth everything because now I have my beautiful baby girl who is going to be 6 months soon, and she's doing great. She's gaining weight. She's the healthiest baby and the prettiest baby I ever seen. That was the video. That was my experience giving birth in Sweden, which, like I said, it was a bittersweet experience, but it was worth everything. So yeah,
hope you all enjoyed this story, and we'll see you all next time. Bye bye.